underground metal mining methods, where you will be taught about board and pillar method of mining. So, so whenever you leave the pillars, sometimes these pillars collapse. So that is called your collapse of the pillars. Collapse of the pillars. So sometimes because of the smaller and inadequate pillars, because of the smaller size of the pillar and inadequate number of pillars, the collapse of pillars take place. And sometimes robbing of pillars take place. Sometimes abnormal size of the pillars also uh, create collapse of the pillars, and sometimes steep gradient inclination also one of the reason for the collapse of the pillars. And if the pillars are collapsed, the people will be in danger. So because of the collapse of the pillars in Chanda Kalyeri in the year 1915, 10 people were killed. Similarly, in Baura Kalyeri in the year 1916, 24 people are killed because of the collapse of the pillars. And in Raunwara Kalyeri in the year 1923, 15 people are killed because of the collapse of the pillars. In West Chirmiri Colliery in the 1968, because of the collapse of the pillars, 14 people are dead. So this is also a great hazard in underground coal mining, which is called a collapse of the pillars, because many people in the past are dead because of the collapse of the pillars. So all these accidents has taken place before 2000. So after 2000, nowadays, uh, because of the modern technology, because of the proper planning and design of the mines, so the pillars are not going to fail. Uh, because of a lot of research activities are carried out to find out the region of collapse of pillars, and the size of the pillars, the uh, proper design of the pillars will prevent collapse of the pillars. So that is why in 2000 era we are not encountering any pillar failure. All these accidents have taken place in the year 1900. So there is another type of hazard associated uh, with mining, which is called air blast. Uh, so what is air blast? So after blasting is carried out, after blasting is carried out, so the air sometimes the air blast takes place. Large area of uncollapsed roof may fall down. Large area of uncollapsed roof may fall down because of the air blast. So this air blast takes place after the blasting is carried out. After the blasting in the underground mines, so there may be chance of air blast. So in the case of air blast, sudden fall of large area of overhanging roof will be there. Sudden fall of large area of overhanging roof will be there. So there will be limited number of outlets or galleries will be there. Limited number of outlets, galleries are there, for which reason the air blast takes place. After blasting, the air could not find its way to go out, and it suddenly uh, struck on the roof, and the roof has fallen down because of the air blast. So this type of problem accident has taken place in Jamuria 7 and 8 pits in the year 1943, where 12 people are died. So this air blast can be prevented by doing proper blasting. The blasting round should be properly designed, and so that there will be no air blast. So air blast is a problem in the mines, for which reason 12 people are killed, died in Jamuria 7 and 8 pits in the year 1943. And we are going to discuss about the rock bursts and coal bombs in greater detail in our subsequent classes, but the definition of rock bursts and bombs are given here. So what is a rock burst? A sudden and violent failure of the rock due to overstress is called a rock burst. What is a rock burst? It is a sudden and violent failure of the rock due to overstress is called a rock burst. A similar failure of coal pillars is called a coal burst or a bomb. So if a similar type of failure takes place in a coal mines, it is called a coal bomb. It is called a bomb. The difference between bursts, rock bursts and bombs is that the rock bursts take place in metal mining operations, whereas bombs are associated with coal mining operations. So yes, what is a rock burst? A sudden and violent failure of the rock due to overstress is called a rock burst. A similar failure of coal pillars is called a coal burst or a coal bomb. So this is the difference between coal bursts and rock bursts and the coal bombs. So rock bursts, they take place in the metal mines. Bombs are associated with coal mining. Mainly, this type of problem takes place in deep mines exceeding 1000 meter in hard rock mines and 300 meter in coal mines. So where you come across with rock bursts and bombs, these type of problems are associated with deep underground mining. If if it is a rock mine, if it is a metal mine, so if you are working at a depth of 1000 meter below the earth crust, then there is chance of rock burst there. Similarly, if you are mining the coal deposits at a depth of 300 meter or below, so coal bombs may take place. So, but besides this, there are some minor bursts take place at shallow depths. Even if you are not working at 1000 meter depth or 300 meter depth, sometimes at shallow depths also minor type of bursts take place, which is due to high horizontal stresses of tectonic origin, like an earthquake type of seismic activity. So minor bursts at shallow depths may take place due to high horizontal stresses of tectonic origin, which you are going to study in your rock mechanics class, which you are going to study in your rock mechanics class. And in coal mines of Raniganj coal fields, so these coal bombs problems are associated with coal mines of Raniganj coal fields. You come across with coal bombs problems. So the coal bomb accidents have taken place in Shodepur Colliery in the year 1943, where 13 people are killed. It is not a small number. 13 people are killed because of the coal bombs accident in Shodepur Colliery in the year 1943. Similarly, in Dhemu main colliery in the year 1952, 12 people are killed. 12 people are dead because of the coal bomb accident which took place in the year 1952. So all these years, 1943, 1952, in the year 1900, all sort of accidents has taken place in the underground mining, and for that reason mining is considered as a hazardous profession. But if you see the scenario now, after 2000, the mines are becoming more mechanized. Modern mines are there. Modernization and equipments and new research and findings has prevented you the accidents. No more accidents are taking place in the mines because of the because of the introduction of new technology, because of research and development which is taking place in mining industry. So that is the reason why in the year 2000 afterwards there are very less accidents taking place in the mines. And nowadays uh, before the coal bombs take place, there are machines, there are strata monitoring systems are there. So the mines manager will come to know and he will take appropriate measures so that such type of accidents will not take place in the mines. So that is the reason why accidents are very less nowadays in the mines. So you should not feel panic because of thank to the technology, thank to the modern innovation. The mines are nowadays mechanized, and because of the introduction of new technology, eco-friendly mining, because of introduction of proper method of mining, systematic method of mining, no more accidents are taking place in the mines. So uh, the things are improving and the mining environment is improving. So from the hazardous profession, we are moving to zero accident mining. So these accidents has taken place, all the accidents has taken place in the 1900 era. So in the mines, you are using the different type of explosives for the blasting purpose. For the blasting purpose, you are using different type of explosives. So in Surda copper mine, in Surda copper mine, in the year 1984, 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. on 4th April 1984 at 9 p.m., 80 boulders had been charged for plaster shooting. You know that the boulders are fragmented, broken down by plaster shooting, by blasting. The mining mate, the blaster, the helper, and two drillers were affected by nitrous fumes of nitrous oxides with a concentration of 100 ppm. They all died by 2:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. on 5th April 84 in the hospital. What is the cause of the accident? What is the reason for they died? Because you are using the explosives, and these explosives are producing nitrous fumes because you are using the nitrous oxides. So nitrous fumes after blasting is done, so the explosives produced nitrous fumes of nitrous oxides whose concentration was 100 ppm, and these people, the mining mate, the blaster, the helper, and two drillers, they inhaled the nitrous fumes. They inhaled through their nostril these nitrous oxide fumes, and they fall down. They fall down unconscious. They were taken to the hospital, and by 2:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. all of them are died. All of them uh, died in the hospital because of the inhalation of nitrous fumes of nitrous oxides. So these nitrous fumes of nitrous oxide having concentration of 100 ppm, they came from the explosives which are used for blasting purpose. So this is a great concern for the people. So nowadays, so these nitrous fumes, nitrous oxides are measured by some machines. So their concentration should not be more than, it should be much below the 100 ppm, then only people will not die. But in this case, the nitrous fume concentration was 100 ppm, for which reason these people are killed, died, falling unconscious in the hospital. So this is the cause of accident due to explosives. So uh, the most important uh, chapter, the most important chapter in hazard and rescue subject is mine fire, mine inundation, mine explosion, danger due to fire and inundation. Fire is coal mine fire, spontaneous heating. Because of the spontaneous heating of coal mine fire takes place, and inundation, flooding of the mine. So in the underground mines, these are the two major problems associated with underground coal mining: underground coal mine fire and inundation. So let us see what is fire and what is inundation. So as per the coal mines regulation, as per the coal mines regulation, a fiery seam, a fiery seam means a seam in which a fire or spontaneous heating exists in the workings below the ground or in open cast workings lying within the precincts of a mine. Okay. So let us come back to this. So this danger of fire and inundation, this subject will take up in the next class. So today I have given you the introduction to this subject, mine hazards and rescue. So this is a very important subject for the mining engineers, because you should know what are the different type of hazards associated with mining, and for that reason this subject is taught to you. So in this class uh, you should understand the different type of hazards associated with mining and what are the precautions you have to take so that such type of hazards are not going to take place. So this is the first class, introductory class. So we'll move on in greater detail to the different aspects, different subjects, different hazards associated with underground coal mining and even underground metal mining, sometimes in open cast mines also. So this subject you should take very seriously, because this is a very serious subject. Why this is a serious subject? Because If you are not serious about the topic and you are becoming the manager of a mine, and if you are not taking proper precaution, so accidents will take place and people will be killed in your mines. So that is why you should understand the subject very clearly, and you should take appropriate measures so that in your minds no accident take place. In your minds no accidents take place. And um, uh, these type of accidents which take place in the mines uh, are of course nowadays gradually reducing. uh, Not much accidents are taking place in the modern mines, because you are mining remotely, remote operated mines, by using the various type of by using the various type of equipments, modern equipments. So the accidents are reduced. The accidents are reduced nowadays. So uh, uh, I, all of you should take note of these materials. I will send you these materials, will be available to you for study. Afterwards, you can study it, and also these materials will be the recorded classes will be available, uh, will be given to you uh, in the YouTube or in your channel, so that you can also go through afterwards whenever you get free time. So this will be the method in this semester. In between, we may take some quizzes, we may take some class tests, I may give some assignments to you, on the basis of which your uh, teacher's evaluation part will be taken care. So for the teacher's evaluation, 20 marks are there. 20 marks are there. So these 20 marks will be awarded to you on the basis of your attendance in the class, on the basis of your quiz tests, assignments, class tests. Depending on your performance, out of 20, you'll get your marks. And uh, if the mid-semester exam will be held, it will be 30 marks. If mid-semester is not going to held, then the end semester evaluation will be there, end semester examination will be there, where 80 marks will be the weightage. 20 mark per teacher's assignment, quiz test, or attendance, or whatever, and 80 marks will be your end semester examination, which includes your midterm examination also. So this is the way you have to move forward. So hope you are able to listen to my talk, and accordingly you can plan for this semester. So I thank you everybody for attending this class, and we have to go like this for the rest of our classes. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.